want to get the Word of God out. I'd like to look at today with you a text from the Gospel of Luke, the 20th chapter, starting at verse 19. And it says this: The scribes and the chief priests sought to lay hands on him at that very hour, for they perceived that he had told this parable against them. But they feared the people. So they watched him and sent spies who pretended to be sincere, that they might catch him in something he said, so as to deliver him up to the authority and jurisdiction of the governor. So they asked him, Teacher, we know that you speak and teach rightly, and show no partiality, but truly teach the way of God. Is it lawful for us to give tribute to Caesar or not? But he perceived their craftiness and said to them, Show me a denarius. Whose likeness and inscription does it have? They said, Caesar's. He said to them, Then render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. And they were not able in the presence of the people to catch him in what he said, but marveling at his answer, they became silent. Oh, this is talking about taxes, isn't it? No, it has nothing to do with taxes. I'm sorry. It's not what it's talking about. The scribes and the Pharisees had something in their possession they were not to have, and it was the denarius. The denarius. You see, it had an inscription on there of Caesar. And do you know what it said on there also? Caesar, the Son of God. Now, you cannot have that in your possession and claim to worship the real and the true God. What Jesus was saying, you having that in your possession, you agree with what's on there, and you're saying that I belong to Caesar, and Caesar is your God, instead of the true and the living God. You see, here's the thing. You cannot have two gods. You can only have one God, and it must be Jesus Christ. If you're going to worship Caesar, Caesar claimed to be the Son of God. Jesus caught them with something they weren't even supposed to have. And he said, if you're Caesar's, then give yourself to Caesar. Give yourself to him. But if you belong to God, then give yourself to God. You see, it's one thing to claim to be a follower of God, but it's a whole other thing to truly be a follower of God. I pray today that we would understand this has nothing to do with taxes. It has to do with who do you belong to? Do you belong to the secular world and Caesar? Or do you belong to the true and the living God? And I pray today we belong to the true and the living God.